seem to have been directly countered. I'm a little bit more worried about the Enigma Snapfire. Not necessarily the lane, I think that should go just fine, but there's not really too much harass that the Lina should be taking. So I think this is just going to be another one of those games where Lina just gets way too out of control. If Ivy are going to win this, it's going to be on the back of what Fluke was saying during the panel segment, where maybe it's just going to be D2 Hustlers diving a little bit too deep, and then you get a nice black hole, you get the cookie from the backline, and, sorry, the kisses from the backline, and then use that to turn it around.
Oh, not like this, PO. Should be okay, looks like. Was on the high ground. Alex wasn't able to lend that pushback. Hasn't even scored up just yet, so not going to have any crazy shenanigans with that wraparound from D2 Hustlers. We'll give them control, however, of the top side, so a couple of bounty runes will go their way, and Ivy going to disperse to the opposite side of the map. I will go against your prediction. I'm going to give Ivy a slight little edge here. I like the tempo that they can set in a game like this, and I'm a bit concerned that Radiant will be very single target, and I think the sustain from Ivy could prove to be a bit of an issue, but I do think once BKBs come out, if they don't have a firm control before the BKBs on D2 Hustler, then I feel like it might flip back onto Radiant's favor a little bit. Yeah,
no, there's certainly avenues for Ivy to be able to win it, but I'm still feeling confident for D2. So let's see how it turns out. I'm also just having a quick look if at all there is going to be a Quelling Blade purchased for this Ivy safe lane, just because you're going up against a Hoodwink. Still one of these heroes that an item can, a 100 gold item can completely nullify the effectiveness of one of your strongest skills. So we'll have a look. There's people disconnecting and reconnecting in our Discord. Well, hopefully that's the players at least, rather than just random people joining and leaving their Discord. That'd be a bit of an issue.
With the Quelling Blade that you were mentioning, are we more hoping for the Abaddon to pick it up, or is there
you could afford
a realm
to do
that
as an Abaddon? Yeah.
Because I know it's been a little bit more popular on the ranged heroes with the value that you get now in regards to the damage. Of course, the cost being reduced heavily, and just 6 damage I think for range is enough to warrant you to purchase it. But I don't think Leshrac is kind of one of those. But like you said, in a really specific game like this, where you potentially want it against the Hoodwink, we've seen even matchups versus the Treant Protector, where you kind of go to the lane and clear all the creeps as well. But speaking about the lanes, you mentioned with the kind of the reasoning behind the Queen of Pain pick. It's a really good matchup versus the Bat Rider. What about the other lanes, though, here for Ivy and D2 Hustlers? Is there kind of sides that we think will be a little bit more favored than the other?
I think it probably should just be a farm trade in terms of the side lanes, at least in my opinion. But I think that's probably going to favor the D2 Hustlers, right? When you consider that you've got a Visage, such a strong level 6 timing, Lina as well. If you let her get out of control, it's kind of ridiculous what this hero is able to do, and they haven't really directly countered this Lina with any of their picks, to be honest, on Ivy, right? There isn't anyone that wants to get in there onto the front lines to disrupt her from just being able to right-click away, and this is a Lina that's going to be buffed up by a Visage who eventually is going to be going into all of those aura builds.
Yeah, and it seems like this bottom lane as well with the Lina and the Clockwork should be able to get a decent amount of the Eidolons. You've got that kind of Battery Assault, which has a lot more effectiveness against the summons now. The LSA is going to be really nice as well, just to get the damage going through. So it's not like we're kind of expecting Shad to put a lot more points in the Dragon's Sleeve just in this specific matchup to deal with the Eidolon. So that'll be nice for him to continue with that kind of natural build that we've seen from the Lina. I've seen a lot of kind of 1-1-4. Even some of the carries are putting more points into the LSA than the other. It definitely seems like a more individual preference in some games.
And we're just seeing so much Rubik these days that, you know, those are the games where you just get 1 point in Life Strike, right? Because, you know, that's just how effective it is. But, well, we'll see what they're able to do. Like you said, those Eidolons can fall down pretty quickly, especially, you know, with the buffed up damage against creeps that Clockwork has now with the Battery Assault, and also the reduced magic resistance that the Eidolons have. It's just double the effectiveness coming through there, as well, looks like they'll be able to get a bit of a D-ward off here and able to continuously block up this small camp. So they're really looking to try and hopefully get some kills happening as the lane pushes back towards Ivy's safe lane to power.
And we're back.
Top lane, Alex might be in trouble if Pio is able to land the stun, but Alex just scurries on by. We already see the aggression coming out, and this is much needed against the Visage lane. Level 1, you've got some power with a Soul Assumption spam, but still We see how strong this can be from Ivy. Just the Abaddon running forward, tanking up some spells, and we've got that Lesh to be able to... It doesn't have a guaranteed setup for the Split Earth at least, but still able to freely right-click from afar. So they're definitely dwindling down the resources.
Yeah, Divine Llama being very greedy as well with his tangos. You've got a couple of sets coming through on Alex, so it won't be too bad as he makes his way on pretty low HP. I think he was considering disrupting one of these pulls, but it's just a little bit too risky at this stage as Vincent. It'd be great if he was able to get that pull off, but yeah, again, good positioning by Alex to be able to stop that.
Yeah, and with the kind of duo from D2 Hustlers, Divine Llama and Alex, I'm really excited to see how these two are able to continue to develop as players, because of course we did see them at the TI Last Chance qualifiers with Wildcard. A lot of people were very impressed with Divine Llama in particular with his performance, so we'll see how that experience is able to pay out in regards to now hopefully getting them into a Div 1 position.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a real glow up, right? Just being able to return to your home region and be able to put through some pretty solid performances would feel amazing. Of course, it must have been a little bit challenging for them to be away from home for so long, but now this is where they belong. They're such a talented pair, and we've seen the likes of, Ace and Tofu, for example, having great success when they made the moves together and they made sure to stick together. I think we might be seeing another one of those right now.
Well, in regards to the mid matchup, looking pretty good for Mirai at the moment, 11 to 10 compared to the 8 and 2. He's able to secure the water runes as well, so Raj might have some issues in regards to his sustain, especially if Mobai is able to continue to spam me out. Has gone 2 points in the dagger, so we'll see if there's going to be kind of any help from maybe some supports to refill the bottle shortly.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, you just can't go for any dives on the bat, and most of the times you win out on the trade. Not against a Quap, not with Shadow Strike, and it's not like you're even regularly using it, so not even going to fill up any kind of stick charges if Mirage was to go down that route. So, yeah, in terms of the laning phase, really solid pick. Alex is doing a great job of tanking up a lot of these spells. It would be unfortunate if he's going to go down as a result of it,
Oh, sing the praises. The Caster Curse goes down as first blood as PO strike first in our game 1.
Mm-hmm. The reason I was talking about that, not to curse him, but I mean, most of the times as a Visage, you don't get out of the laning stage like anywhere close to the top of the net worth, and it's not. He's still 500 or so gold behind. A big part of that, of course, was the first blood bounty going over to PO, but I think as long as this Visage gets a pretty solid time, is able to get a lot of that solo experience for himself, he should be fairly happy. But with kills like that being garnered, with pulls happening for the small camp, it's going to make it a whole lot more challenging for sure.
Well, Llama might take a little bit.
Well with Shad.
Yeah, I mean, we see Lena. Top of the net worth. Having a very good time at the moment. Oh, can they turn it actually on the Lesh? Yeah, Divine Llama. So Assumption's going to pump in the damage. Pio can play around with the Selve, considering about diving him under the tower, but they will at least be able to mitigate a lot of the sustain coming up from the Selve. So some nice damage out of D2 Hustlers.
And look at what Mirage has been forced to. 5 minutes in, already having to just go build up his own stack inside the jungle. And I like the way that he's been able to navigate this lane, right? He knows that it's a horrible laning matchup, so he's just like, you know what? I'm not going to lane. That's the way to deal with bad lane matchups. Just don't lane.
Be able to get that catch up. We'll be able to make his trip back to base. We do have the first power runes coming up in the next 30 seconds. The Batrider will have some, at least, mana and health to be able to contest this, but I wonder if the supports are going to look to get involved as well. This first power rune could be really important for Mobile to be activated across the map now with that Sonic Wave.
Yeah, and I mean, he knows that that's exactly what the Batrider was doing, right? So he places up his own ward, he even gets the D ward as well, all that solo experience, so he's level 6. Tons of damage that he now has available for himself, and well, I think that's why they're so heavily prioritizing the support rotation towards the power rune. They know that Mobe is going to be able to pick up this kill if he was to grab those runes. So with Mirage now picking up the DD, at least it's not damage that the Quap's going to be able to output onto him.
Let's leave Shadow alone down bottom, but Angel is instantly going to TP back, so I mean, Cube not not able to get aggressive with the solo lane. I do want to just bring up the wards that we see placed across the map from D2 Hustlers. A lot of emphasis with these two kind of river wards to the northern side, protecting their off lane. And even the cliff as well down bottom. I'll actually hold that thought as Vincent might be in a little bit of trouble. Photic Shield's able to protect him though, so the Abaddon's able to step away. But we do see that D2 Hustlers have put a lot of emphasis on placing down this kind of defensive vision, putting a lot of kind of respect onto Mobi's potential movements across the map.
Yeah, I like at least the ward next to the Batrider right now, and I like the one maybe next to the Roche Pit. But not the third one. I don't think they needed the two wards on the top side, and I think it might hinder them a little bit, at least in terms of like team fight vision for when these rotations actually happen. I think those two are a little bit... you're just getting redundant. That's the word. Here we go.
Yeah.
I do math and English well.
I do math and my English...
It's not good.
Cool. No good. No good? Okay, no good. Yo. I'm going for the stun. Vincent still posturing pretty aggressively. Just waiting to see once we get those level 6s. Honestly, was expecting maybe the position 2s to get a little bit more involved. But of course, Mirage looking to try and get that catch up. We will have the next power rune up shortly as well. So maybe this is when we could see that rotation. But if not the case, then it's probably going to be the level 6s coming out from the supports when we might see a little bit more action in this one.
I mean, to just have a look again, Flash making sure that he makes his way down towards that bottom rune, and he's going to snag it right in front of the Quap. So really good rotations coming through from the Hustlers supports, preventing this Quap from making the most out of that great start to the game. My Llama actually getting dived a little bit underneath the tower, and yeah, there we go. They end up getting the kill off the back of the Leshrac, enabled, of course, by the Aphotic Shield to be able to fully complete that dive under the tower.
So important to give him a good lane. Top of the net worth on Pier. All the kills they've gotten so far, give it over to the Leshrac as well. So it's going to get him towards that faster Bloodstone timing. Of course, he's going to be the person pumping out a lot of the damage, and especially into the towers as well. It will make a trip all the way back to base, so to freshen up a little bit on the Lesh.
Understandable. I mean, it's important for Abaddon to be able to get up his levels a little bit. Obviously not the greatest at being able to go to the jungle and get it. You don't really want the Abaddon to be sitting mid lane either. He's all about, you know, just standing behind heroes and preventing them from dying. But it's going to be really important for him to have that level 6 so that when the eventual tower push happens, with the Visage hitting onto his level 6, for example, that he's there to be able to just stand and fight. Ooh, really got another kill onto Alex there if he was just a... You can see Mirage, he's thinking about it a little bit. He's built up 1 or 2 stacks inside of the Ancients area, so he'll look to claim that next. Looking to maybe rotate Alex towards the mid lane to make sure that's not pushed in too deeply. They're going to be a little worried about Quap just not being on the map for quite some time, but again, that's where the vision that you were talking about really comes into play. They're going to be in a position to be able to make any solo smokes with the Queen of Pain, as tempting as it may be.
Yeah, I'd like to see Mobi start to move shortly once this mechanism is completed for Own Me. You're going to have probably 3 points in the conversion by then, so a Sonic Wave into the potential tower is, I think, the next move, maybe for Ivy.
Yeah, possibly. Oh, yeah, miss there of the Bushwhackers. Ooh, they found Mirage. He's able to pick up that double damage again, so they're doing a really good job of controlling these power runes. I wonder if he's going to consider this dive here. Just the 1 point in the blink, so a couple of seconds until it's off cooldown, and he's tempted. Got really good vision of him, though.
Support's making sure they stick around, just in case that dive does occur, like you mentioned. So very impressed with the Mirage and how much farm he's been able to get out of the map, but in regards to their kind of position 3, Divine Llama at the bottom of the net worth out of all the cores, and do we feel like this is going to be an issue in regards to how a Hustler wants to play the game if their Visage doesn't have as much net worth?
Well, again, it's going to come off the back of objectives, right? And again, level 6, you see what the Bat does. Makes the movement up towards top. A little low on net worth, if I'm being honest, and he's going to try and get this kill onto the Abaddon before he's level 6.
Drop the lasso, why not? Secure the first kill of the game for D2 Hustlers. Even Sharpshooter as well was actually used, so a bit of an extra ultimate that wasn't necessary, but doesn't have the longest cooldown.
Protect this.
And maybe they can. Pier, he's going to TP in aggressively. The rest of Ivy going to start to funnel into the area. with the Mortimer Kisses getting laid from downtown, but still they'll just turn to Pio. The damage isn't there at the moment, so Lurstrat, can he sustain through the sole assumption he can? Pio stays alive, and Ivy successfully defend their tower.
And take a bottom tower all the while. You've still got the TP available on the Enigma if he wants to make a rotation up towards the top side. And the downside's right, they didn't need the sharpshooter to be able to convert that kill onto the Abaddon. Not quite yet, that level 6. Although I wonder if they might just go for an attempt again, considering Vincent made that rotation towards the mid TP. They know that he's not going to be able to protect this top tower at all. Looks like they will be able to take it without too much contest happening from Ivy.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Another power and going Mirage's way, so would have been really nice for Ivy after getting a little bit of map control to secure that for Mobile, but again, it's not going to go their way. But we'll have a lot more farm to work with now. We see the Enigma just getting a little bit extra of the net worth thanks to the small camp and the hard camp now. Mechanism completed, 1400 gold in the bank as well for Own Me. And are we expecting Ivy to look to try and transition this into another T1 tower shortly, or is there still a little bit that they need to pick up before they can pressure this Tier 1 mid?
I think they could potentially do it. They might be waiting for the surprise black hole coming out with just 600 gold away from that blink dagger that he's looking to work into, but you've got plenty of ways to be able to cancel it, so it'll need to be the perfect coming through from Own Me. Maybe just wanting to bait one of his carries, particularly the Leshrac. And, well, speaking of Lesh, Pio, he's farming up a stack of his own, getting closer and closer towards that Bloodstone. So I think that's the name of the game for Ivy, right? I think they're going to be baiting this Lesh. You've got the Bloodstone, you've got the Blink Black Hole, you'll have the Abaddon standing behind him, and a Quap that still at this stage of the game is able to dish out irresistible amount of damage.
Yeah, and that is kind of my concern with D2 Hustlers. You are very, very single target in regards to your damage. So if you aren't able to blow up that one hero, then all of a sudden, if Ivy can sustain it, like you said, with all the items, then it could be a really big issue with the further drawn out fights, with them just having no damage in the tank. As mid lane, a nice cookie from the Snapfire secures a freebie onto the Clockwork, but they won't get a whole lot of damage into the towers. Mirage should be able to clean this up.
He'll be able to have too much, though, for the next wave that's coming through. He did pop the Arcane Rune before the Firefly, so only going to have about 10 seconds left on it, but really he doesn't want to be farming right in front of the tower. Coop's been playing an amazing game so far in his Snapfire, really enabling that Enigma to be as strong as he is right now. As another Power Rune controlled.
Oh, nice cookie, though. Back to back from Coop. That cookie on 4. Snapfire's a pretty high level as well. Yeah, that's true. It's like probably not necessary.
Yeah.
As we
nice
see, I
deep
mean,
ward from Vincent as well behind the tower. It's very clear that the objective right now on Ivy is, well, we've got everything we could possibly want. They might have just scouted out the Blink Dagger on Enigma with the Clockwork Rocket Flare coming through, so we'll see how Own Me chooses to put his positioning. He's just prioritizing taking this tower, not wanting to give any sanctuary for the D2 Hustlers players to be able to rotate
oh, they're
back
going to go
towards
straight
the
away
jungle.
as well. Yeah, look at this. Smoke up. Divine Llama's the target. We'll reach some of the familiars just to be a potential use of the drop to hold the Queen of Pain back. But we saw the odds from esportsbet.io prior favoring Ivy, and well, it's looking to be the case with how strong of a start they've got in a game like this. 2,000 net worth.
Hit the black hole at bot.
All right, why not? Mortimer Kisses laid down as well for the damage required to bring down Mirage, and a great combo coming out from Ivy in regards to their ultimates. Inside the jungle, though, Zento's going to run into Angel. Clockwork will be okay. Still, Ivy, are they going to be able to get the kill onto Mobile? They'll use all their stuns at the same time, and it doesn't matter because Angel's off to the right side to hold him into place. And, well, we see Shad. This is a person that we haven't really spoken about a whole lot. This lane has been freely farming around the map, and we see top of the net worth and already has plenty of damage at the moment. We'll see if it's still going to be enough, though. Pio Bloodstone activated. Abaddon behind him as well to keep the Leshrac alive, but is it sustain enough? You bet it is. Once again, Pio, he's got to be cautious, though, but the shield cancels out the lasso. No effectiveness coming out from the ultimate from the Batrider, and this is something we've been mentioning, Denog. Pio is not going to be an easy man to bring down in regards if the boys are positioned behind him.
We might be able to get... Oh, never mind. There we go. Double damage denied by Divine Llama with the Familiars. Has he gotten a single one of these power runes? I don't think he's still having such a high level of effectiveness on this Queen of Pain. As we go for a 4-man smoke here. Ultimate starting to come back off cooldown. You've got the borrowed time. No Mortimer's Kisses, but they want to make use out of that Sonic Wave and make that rotation in towards the Radiant Ancient Camp. They would be very happy to be able to claim the life of Devi Lama as well. But you have to know that they've been off the map for quite some time, so... no, I think he should be just about to fall here.
Looks like that's going to be the case. Poor Devi Lama. We'll make him work for it in the end, though. But a kill nonetheless for Ivy. 4,000 net worth lead. Is he starting to get to a stage where D2 Hustlers... Are we concerned, or are they okay considering still Shad has not been touched across the map? This man is still farming like a beast, and something you mentioned, like it's not going to be a fun time if this is a really, really farm leaner. So this is something that you should be too worried about for Radiant?
Oh, I mean, of course. I think they always expected like a couple of these lanes to go quite poorly, but not the past few full engagements, right? The thing is, after they used that Black Hole Mortimer's Kisses combo, they had all of the tools at their disposal. They found the pick onto the Queen of Pain, and I was thinking that tier 1 tower was gone. But the thing is, movements can be incredibly predictable, and Ivy set up amazingly for it. You know, great positioning by Vincent. They also had the Bloodstone available, so they realized what their strength was at that stage of the game, and they responded accordingly. So I'm really impressed with how I've been able to read what D2 Hustlers have been wanting to do at each stage of this game so far. And maybe all they need to do to make this next play is finally get this power rune. It's going to come up in about 5 seconds.
They get lucky, though. It's been
a
bit unfortunate. Yeah, we haven't even seen his ulti just yet, but that's a perfect room to utilize for the Queen of Pain. Arcane now to work with, has that Chiron Sun, so wonder if they're going to consider about taking this, at least putting some pressure onto the tier 2 tower down bottom. We see both sides kind of just flipping the map. Radiant playing up at the kind of top dive jungle area, so Shad does have the BKB.
Yeah.
We'll see if this is an item that...
Oh, I was just about to say they should know that there's no glyph, so I wonder if Ivy are going to full-on commit down here. There's no real place for Onmi to be able to TP to. He doesn't even have a TP, actually. Defensive duty right now.
Nice kill. Once again, Cupid and Mobi playing together, but not even going to be able to wrap around as well to put the pressure on. Great scan as well from Ivy. Reading Shad, making the attempt to try and steal that Roshan. You've got to be really cautious about this. If you can continue to go in an area like this where the black hole could be a threat.
Maybe they were just seeing that Onmi was still up on the top side. It's going to be a 3-man smoke coming through here. Get into this. Good positioning by Alex right underneath his Observer Ward.
Roshan's fallen fast.
It is. They got to make a move, and they got to do it now.
They're going to be too late, it looks like.
They know their positioning as well. That Sentry Ward revealing everything.
They'll be able to blow up the one. Mobi committed into the river, but not a concern. You got to be really happy with that for D2 Hustlers. You still Roche, even though the scan was on the mark for Ivy, so they knew exactly what was going on, but you now have that Aegis advantage for Shad, which is ever so important against the lineup of Ivy, where you'd be concerned about that blink black hole into the follow-up burst. Now you've got the second life to protect you.
You do, but you also have a BKB now on Pio, so I think he's nearly unkillable. Like, if he's able to get into this plate mail next, I'm really finding it's going to be a struggle for D2 Hustlers to do too much against him. Really, the only thing holding him back right now is mana. So as long as he's got the capability to get off that full Bloodstone, he should be just fine.
I think a lot of that comes down to then the positioning of the Abaddon. We see very close to the 4-star from Vincent, so that'll help out just with his defensive capability to reposition his team, maybe even get him closer to the Aphotic Shield as well. And of course, the Philosopher's Stone going to be a great neutral item here for the Abaddon. Someone who doesn't get a whole lot of farm across the map, so at least just getting that one item could make or break his game.
Even just the extra 200 mana can't be understated, right? All of that, that Aphotic Shield spam that he's going to be inevitably doing in these team fights. Yeah, the 4 stuff, great against the Clockwork, great against the Hoodwink. Even just the Lina, if you're on point with a Light Strike Array, you're able to dodge out a big portion of Hustler's team fight control. So I think I'm just trying to what D2 Hustlers need to do here. Like, when are they actually wanting to go forward? Because I think if you wait for this 4 stuff to come online, like, he's walking underneath the ward right now on Vincent, right? If he's able to get into this 4 stuff, it's going to be pretty horrible for them. But if Hustler's able to, if you're able to get the hook shot onto the Abaddon and you just isolate him away from the rest of the team, then you can actually look to go on some of these heroes and burst them down because they're not going to have that save potential. Case of will they have waited too long? You do have that Boots of Travel available on the Batrider, so Mirage feels like he can protect this lane down the bottom, and he is actually going into that Octarine core build that I was talking about, even helped out by the Eye of the Vizier. So for that little bit of extra cast range against the Black Hole.
See a wraparound coming from D2 Hustlers, though. Looking to try and put some pressure onto the tier 1 tower, with Shad being in the front line. Looks like Ivy's not in a position to be able to protect it. They will glyph, maybe giving them some time to bring their forces from the bottom side of the map.
They want to, though. I mean, Enigma is such a big part of their defense, and it doesn't seem like they want to contest this too much, and I really like this movement. They know that the glyph was used, they know that that was the second tier 1 tower to go down, so what do? Immediately start to threaten this tier 2 up on the top side. I wouldn't be surprised if Clockwork shot a rocket flare into the trees behind this tower just to prevent any kind of Enigma blink coming in, but I'm sure their eyes are just on the minimap, seeing that Onmi is still down on this bottom side, and yeah, that's a tier 2 tower gone.
Do you feel like Ivy aren't strong right now?
I think they're plenty strong. I think they probably could have taken the D2 Hustlers tier 2 tower at an earlier stage if they wanted to. Going to be able to do it now, but tier 3 getting knocked on now.
Now you're forcing them back, losing map control. Theo is going to reveal himself. Coop as well. So they see that all of Ivy come back to defend the tower. So this is a lot of map control going the way of D2 Hustlers.
Yeah, they're just going to push out the wave, sweep across the map. Again, double boots of travel on the team, so it's very easy for them to make these full movements. And I think even though it's a 5k net worth lead for Ivy right now, we should expect to see that shrink pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's getting to the stage where we've spoken a lot about the Lena, but still the farm continuing to be picked up at a rapid rate for Shad. He's got that Dragon Lance completed. 40 seconds still to work with the Aegis as well, and it looks like Ivy don't have a response, and this is kind of the issue when you're on the back foot with this lineup. Got a lot of difficulty with starting fights. You want D2 Hustlers to kind of run into you when you're taking objectives, but now that they're the ones...
doing that a few times, right? And then they were just like, well, that clearly doesn't work. Let's change our strategy. Just sit behind Lena. What can they do?
Yeah. We see they're trying to change in regards to the itemization. Cube's going to a Scepter to maybe chuck the Leshrac into the middle, or maybe the Enigma as well, but they got to be the ones that are going first, and that's going to be the case here. Knock on 5 for Ivy. This could be devastating, though, with the DD onto Shad. The worst timing for them to go for the smoke. The Aegis will tick out, and they're going to see Divine Llama a little bit away from the team. How do you get the angle into the middle, though, from Ivy? They're very hesitant, and, well, Angel's going to be able to scout one of them out, so maybe this can help D2 Hustlers to reposition.
I love a Clockwork that goes for Ags, man. It's the full Chad build coming through, and he's already on his way. Just launch those rockets. Push the waves out. This is the important thing that I was saying that Ivy needed to prevent. You can't just be losing towers too easily because you're going against these booster travel builders, and now you've got a Clockwork that once he picks this up, he's just going to be spamming that rocket flare onto every single lane and keeping it pushing back towards you. I honestly think Hustlers are pretty happy to just wait for this Skadi as well. I mean, you're going up against an Abaddon and a Leshrac. And, if you can get Lena up to level 20, pick up that Eye of Skadi, then you're laughing.
Yeah, I think that's a huge item pickup. A great way to be able to kite the Leshrac inside the middle of the fight. And give him in particular as well, just that extra little bit of stats as well to help out with his sustain. Just making sure he doesn't get brought down. This is kind of the one thing with this new Lena build, all the stats and that 15 talent. You're kind of survivable, which you wouldn't really expect from like a range damage source like this hero.
Really doesn't need 350 health at level 50.
Yeah. It's a nice talent. It's a nice talent. We saw them smoke prior. See if they want to make a play happen with the double damage rune that was just activated from Shad. Of course, to get timed out with the power rune, but looks like they're still just happy with what they're getting though. So the rest of the cores from Hustlers are definitely taking a hit in regards to the net worth. We see all the priority pretty much given over to the Lena, which means Divine Llama, along with Mirage, is having some issues with being able to get their farm across the map.
I think this is a case of, well, there's no kills happening, we're fine with it, you know? Lina hits such a big timing, even to a lesser extent. We know how deadly that level 15 timing is on the Visage with that armor corruption coming through. He previously just had the Aghanim Shard queued up, now the AC as well, so this is something that Ivy really need to be considering as an issue. I think they need to be pressing their advantage while they still can.
Can they even brute force down this T2 tower mid? This is a very, very... You think they can? Alright. Because this is something
Greaves, you got Blink BKB on the Enigma, you've got an Abaddon behind you, you've got a Lotus Orb now on your Lesh. Like, they have got all the tools that they need to be able to pick up kills, and I really don't feel like bot the place to go. Maybe just trying to get a pick off first before they make this kill attempt, but well, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, I'm just concerned it might be a bit too late now for that tower in regards to the Lina having the items to be able to potentially get that damage in. Like, I feel like this is definitely how Ivy's lineup needs to work, but they're just getting pulled across the map. Like, again, D2 hustlers. Like, you got the Visage shoving out top. You mentioned multiple times the Boots of Travels just to be able to deal with the side lanes. It must be so frustrating for Ivy to play this game because you don't have that way to start the fights.
And now you've got a Psychic Headband as well on the Batrider, so that the lens means that you're going to be able to get those cheeky snags from quite a ways away.
Oh, this could be it, though. It's been brewing for this moment. The smoke from both sides.
Early
face each other in the river. Mobai then gone forward, but Alex is able to react as well with his own Blink Dagger from the Hoodwink, and it looks like both sides are going to back off and chill for a little bit. We do have Roshan up in a couple of seconds, so now it's a game of who can get themselves set up for this second Rosh. A pivotal Rosh to be able to tell of where this one is going to go.
Just a game of chicken, really, for who wants to actually make that movement forward. I'm sure Hustlers
Pierre doesn't have boys behind him. There we go. He leads him with the lasso. Straight drag into Shad's damage. Own me. We'll try and get the Black Hole up, but it's just a little bit too late. An ultimate for naught. Divine Lava even tips the Enigma mid-fight, recognizing that ultimate will give them nothing to turn the fight around. And they're not done just yet. Further to the north they go, catching up to Cube on the Snapfire as D2 Hustlers will now have firm control of this.
The shard given over to... Who ended up getting it? They're actually giving it to Batrider. Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking they might give it to the Visage for free, but maybe he just ended up buying it for himself? Yeah. I don't know. I would have given it to Visage for sure, and then just let him start working towards that AC.
Do we... Because we see there's a gem queued up. Actually, Vincent actually bought it. I was going to say... Do we even want to see him go for something like a Blink Dagger? Maybe just to help out if there is a lapse of kind of his position he can make for it really easily with that Blink?
Yeah, but how's he going to get it? Philosopher's Stone can only go so far.
Yeah, so I was questioning this when he had like 1,100 gold in the bank. That was when I was starting to question. Now, it's fallen down a little bit. So it's... Yeah, maybe the question is not as important now after he bought the gem.
It certainly is quite challenging for sure for Abaddon to get. Unless you're winning team fights, you're not getting farm. So he's already lucked out a little bit by being able to get that Philosopher's Stone. They're trying to get something out of this map, but you're just losing way too much. Like, you can just have a look. All the lanes except for top are pushing in. Not amazing push outside of this Leshrac. Really, they're just all in committing, while at the exact same time, D2 Hustlers are taking 2 towers at once.
They're going to force them back.
A siege creep as well.
Oh, they're so close to having the Scepter complete on the Snapfire. Might catch them off guard with this defense, but lacking the gold. I wonder if he sells maybe the one, but that won't even get him close enough. You need something. You need some X factor to catch them off guard here, because Hustlers, they can just set up with the Lina at the front. 3,400 health, under-ranged kind of carry, so not easy to go through her as well.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that balanced? I can't wait for the patch, man. Put this hero in the bin. She used to be stronger, dude. That's the worst part.
That's the crazy thing. That is the crazy thing. She used to be stronger and she's still first pick material. So we're going to see them kind of use that strength here from Hustler. Smoke up, sweeping across the map. It's kind of the play to cement their positioning, keep Ivy inside the base. Die with this going on. They will be able to get over to their triangle and over to D-Ward. They also get that ever-needed scepter completed on the Snapfire. So what's the play for them? What is the move from Ivy with this kind of gobble up? Who are they sending into the middle?
I think they just need some kind of way to start the fight, you know? I think it might be on the back of throwing an Eidolon in, for example, but it very well could be the Lesh. I just had a quick look over at Lesh's item build, and he is going into the Hex, so he very clearly wants to be able to find a target after the stun comes in, but I think without that Blink Dagger, it essentially needs to be him that gets gobbled up and thrown in.
They do see the Queen of Pain up to her shenanigans. Would really hate to have to BKB, but it might be a little bit too late now. They've got the damage coming through from Shad. Beautifully done. Alex sets it up. Mirage able to TP in with the Boots of Travel, and now they can look to put some pressure on with the Queen of Pain down for 60 seconds. What can you do to stall this one out for Ivy?
I mean, that's kind of what Quap was trying to do, right? She was farming on the other side of the map, probably trying to cut the mid-wave when she can, but again, bots, man. It's a very, very strong item for stopping that sort of gameplay.
Oh, they're going to find another as well. Cento. I'll chase down the Abaddon with ease. Alex is even looking for the Snapfire as well, if they can even catch up to the second support, but that won't be the case. So an easier kill onto the Abaddon. It is kind of wasting a little bit of time, but they're close enough to the base that won't particularly matter. They'll get the gem as well. A nice attempt with that
They tried sending out 3 couriers to try and save the gem, and they all died. Oh, the machine gun, the anti-air rifle coming through from Shad. Oh, look at this Eidolon. The single Eidolon pulling the mid creep wave back. What a hero.
All right.
Do it.
Very nicely done. We've seen some shenanigans from like 33. I mean, we've seen it for a long time with his microwave and using couriers as well. And our own Michon, like, I can do it with the Eidolons as well. And they stalled it. I asked the question of like how you can stop Hustlers from getting inside the base, and that little space that the Abaddon was able to make, and now the Eidolons as well, means that the tower's not going to take any damage, and this Aegis will tick out as well. So Ivy, do you want to make a play now with D2 Hustlers not having this second life to work with?
Yeah, I mean, it feels kind of like they have to. Maybe they're waiting until this Scythe of Vice gets completed by PO first, just because they do need that initial amount of lockdown, right? If you're able to catch the Lina, especially if she full in commits for this Silver Edge, which is very, very close to picking up, by the way, and you get her without the buyback, that's enormous, right? A huge part of the damage that D2 Hustlers has is just gone if you rip out this Lina, and it could be off the back of a surprise play like that. Yes. Go Flash. Launch the rockets. Long-range artillery.
Illusion.
Definitely, is it one of the better scepters? I'm a big fan of the overclocking.
The best.
The best? The best.
Fun to use.
How many heroes are there? There's a lot of heroes. You're putting Clockwork
like
as the most
something.
fun. No, that's a big praise for Angel's Clockwork. Scepter. I mean, definitely overclocking's fun. We only see it for the rocket flare though. You can see a little bit of the reactions.
I mean, the battery assault's pretty good as well against these Eidolons, right? They don't soak up any of the damage. It's just AoE. Wouldn't hate to see him go like, I know he's going into the Blink Dagger, probably just so that he doesn't need to commit the hook shot to be able to stop the Mortimer's Kisses, and you can still have something to be able to cancel out the Black Hole. I think they realize that. The only way that they're going to win this game on Ivy is like off the back of a massive Black Hole, or off the back of Leshrac just jumping in with that Scythe of Vice and 100 to 0ing the Lina.
we already see like Hustlers have already itemized to adapt to that black hole. I mean, you mentioned the Octarine for the cast range. The Eye of the Vizier was what Mirage was holding before, but he's got the headband now, so it's really not going to be easy for him. You kind of have to get the Bat Rider inside the black hole and maybe hope that Clockwork has already used his hook.
This is it. They've completely been spotted out by the artillery. Let's go. I mean, everything about their movement is just completely telegraphed now. They should, if they look into the Leshrak's item pool, see the Scythe of Ice available, so they should know to be able to play around that. But I think if Ivy don't win this next team fight, there's no coming back for them. They've just bought out for the Scythe of Ice. They bought out for the Shiva's Guard. Got the Aghanim Scepter. You've got everything that you should be able to use to be able to get a kill. And there we go. They want the long wraparound, but I don't think you'll have time. Your base is getting whacked on, and it makes your movement really obvious if you take this long to be able to make movements. And Alex in position once again. First time outside of Roche this time.
And again.
Potential comeback.
Bubble Mobile? They do actually get the stun onto Alex. An early use of everything that Queen of Pain has just to get the kill into the Hoodwink. Now what can they do with Shad? He's going to look to enter the fight straight over towards the Sniper for an easy amount of damage to rip him apart. In fact, he turns to Enigma as well, wanting to take the black hole completely out of the equation. And there's just nothing that Ivy can do. Lena just doing Lena things. And now they've caught up to PO as well. Angel making sure there's no retreat. Gotta be cautious about the cogs pushing into the high ground, but that will not occur as Shad comes in to rip apart the Leshrak. And there's just no response. They've just hung around for too long, and Hustlers, well, easy one for them to be able to take this team fight. And what can Ivy do? I don't know. This is looking like a scary position.
They can't do anything. Like, that was their one chance. And the thing is, I'd say they're much more experienced on the D2 side, right? As we see that Sonic Wave being committed in onto a support hero. You also see the TP rotation back onto the tier 3 tower up top. That was essentially the only thing that they needed to be able to say, all right, time to go. No Leshrak, they have no damage. And then you just see Shad completely cleans up this team fight. Ends up getting a triple kill, I believe, controlling the Abaddon entirely. And yeah, they're even able to pick up the Straggler in the Lesh after the fact anyway, so that rotation back doesn't really prevent anything.
Yeah, beautifully done from the Batrider in that fight. Mirage being able to kind of find that real target that he needs in regards to the Enigma. Just making sure they can take the black hole, because that really feels like right now it's all the hopes on Ivy are in that one ultimate from Omi. If you can find that decent black hole off, but you know, we saw the Batrider made sure that was not a possibility.
I want to see them smoke up again on Ivy, and I want to see them use, like... I want to see them get some deep wards up, just to try and catch out the Lena when she's farming on her own. Because you know that she's probably going to, right? She's got the boots of travel. She can afford to be farming back and just join the team at any time. So, if they're able to do that, and that allows them to get the jump and burst her down, right as this Roshan's about to respawn, that could be the difference maker, but, I mean, it might just be a little bit too late with D2 Hustlers. Ooh, they actually just left the pit. So, Roshan's coming up now.
Look how responsible they're playing though on their 2 Hustlers. Like, making sure they just come together, not giving an opportunity for Ivy to get a pick off just before Roche. It's really disciplined from them. I'm quite impressed.
And on Ivy, again, just a little bit of inexperience. I mean, Abaddon just showing there, revealing that he was there to deward the sentry. There's no Abaddon. You're not worried if they make a dive, they're probably going to be dead. Free Roshan, Refresher, picked up. Ain't even going to give that over to Batrider, probably. Right, ends up picking it up.
I'm going to try and bring down Alex. They'll secure the kill, but now the rest of the boys have shown up to the party. Shad
throws him out.
Be able to chase down Vincento. Nice shock away with a gobble up, so Cute will be able to keep at least his core alive, but a well worthwhile sacrifice as his fellow support will also be chased down from Mirage's Batrider. So in the end, they do get the buyback out of Alex, but of course 2 deaths going their own way as well.
And they're just pushing on forward. Again, 2 lives. Like, this is one of the best counters. Wraith King does it, and Aegis the Immortal does it. Black Hole, really only effective if you're able to convert fully onto that. And Lena's just going to be sieging from afar right now, level 26. So she has plenty of attack range, plenty of damage, and plenty of siege potential.
Technically, you're inside Oh, all right. Toss in, but once again, Lasso's going to be there onto the Enigma. A hope around for the buyback into the black hole threat. They were able to deal with the first sight, but now off the back of the respawn. Can they still target her down afterwards? Mirage again! Another lasso! Oh, the Batrider continuing to do it all for them. A dieback now for Own Me. And with that, no threat of the black hole, and that's what they're ever desiring, to have a hope now.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big thing that they were looking to play off the back of, right? Lesh just doing the damage with the black hole coming through because, well, they tried to counter the Aegis as they countered to the black hole by popping Refresher on the Queen of Pain, using that Sonic Wave on her twice just to kill that Aegis, but if that control afterwards isn't there, then Lina ain't going down a second time.
And she isn't, so... What's the Refresher Shard used for the... Sorry, the Refresher Orb? For the Batrider, which he now has completed, so... It's a beautiful use for him as well. Continuing to be very impressed with the Batrider's performance. Second in regards to the net worth, and we'll see if they're going to look to go high ground short. They're dealing with all their side lanes at the moment. A few hustlers.
I'm going to see Flying Fire Lady come soon. The, what is it, the Flame Cloak on Shad. I guess games normally end before you get to that stage, right? Where Lina's just so busted that...
She's so farmed, dude. Oh.
Yeah. He's not wanting to take it with any chances, though, right? He's already got his blessing queued up, but you don't want to give them an avenue to be able to come back into this game, so you got to save that buyback.
He still wants farm. He's like, no, we're not ending this game until I've completely slaughtered. Shard, Scepter, maybe a Moon Shard as well. Shad's like, nah, boys, come on. Next Aegis, that's what we need.
6, 0, and 7. And, pretty solid, just his positioning. He, again, was the one lane. Alpha did 2 hustlers, as they might be using Divine Llama as a little bit of bait here. He's got the rest of the boys behind him as well as some pretty decent vision. And Alina that's just able to move around like Usain Bolt right now.
How do you crack the high ground? Ivor's going to put Moby first. Radiant have great vision to take a fight here. They're going to jump to the south as Moby. Targeting down Angel. A lot of damage towards the Clockwork. They'll utilize the Sonic Wave as well to blow him up. But again, Mirage catching up the Enigma, refreshing up the Lasso as well. So even the Lash track will go down. Shad is just too farm. This Lina. What a hero. A first phase pick as well from D2 Hustlers, but it does not matter. Shad 8, 0, and 9. And now they can look to move up the high gun. Be able to take some easy objectives. The buybacks are coming out from Ivy to be able to protect it though, but Pio, gotta be cautious. Protected with the Lotus Orb as well. Lotus Orb's not really gonna stop you against the Lina's damage. As Mobi though, jumping into the Sonic Wave, 4 stuff, able to dodge it. And game will be caught as D2 Hustlers. What a way to be able to start their Division 2 run.
It is indeed. Just game 1 of the series, but certainly recovering off the back of a rough laning stage and showing why understanding of map control really is what wins games of Dota. You know, there were 2...